Things would be different if people knew and understood the full situation.
People can't afford to live. It's crushing them. Using substances is a response.
The only way we get accessible housing is if someone dies or goes to long-term care.
I was homeless for 8 years, and without the support of my peers, I wouldn't be alive today. The encampment community gave me a sense of belonging. We would listen and take care of one another.
In the valley below me.
Until there is change outside of the downtown east side.
You stayed because of the drugs, and I said, no, I stayed because of the support. There's a difference. It wasn't the drugs that were keeping me here. It was because people cared. And until we actually shift that into other communities where people care, then why would you expect them to go? I felt your glaring looks, you pointing fingers, you're shielding your kids away from me. And we have to break that.
When you hear ambulances and you say, that's probably someone dying of fentanyl.
And I'm like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
I've lost so many people I love in that way, you know, it terrifies me.
I've overdosed numerous times.
If I didn't wake up tomorrow, what would I really be missing?
Favors people who are making a lot of money, and we're all doing quite well. You know, if we have investments in real estate, our money has increased. But for the people who are on fixed income, people who are on a minimum wage, they are left out of this economy, you know, and what are we going to do about them? Where did the people go? Where was the plan for those people? You know, now all the new young tech people are living in the housing and working at Google, and everybody's doing well, but complaining about the tent cities that are right around their building. Well, those are not accidental. Every time you build something that is all cool and glass and steel, you are creating fallout because the people that you've displaced, of course, cannot afford to live there. In fact, they can't afford to live anywhere else.
After 11 years of system failures that kept him from getting well. I don't want to say one system failed my son. All the systems failed my son.
The most expensive. So people with all this money who could afford to spend $50,000, $100,000 to send my loved one will often find that that loved one doesn't get the care that they need.
We've got venture capitalists who can go in, create treatment programs and invest, and they know that they've got a vulnerable population, especially young people, and that's cash in hand, especially if their kids are in crisis.
And remember that the treatment centers, if they're reaching out to you and you're Googling them, they're popping up, they want your money. They might want to help your loved one too, but they want your money.
You know, I was sober the last year and a half, and this is my first this is my relapse. And I've been doing it a binge for like 3 weeks, and I don't know where it's gonna end up, like how it's gonna, you know. But me, man, I'd just like to have a great job, my own property, my dog's backyard, and then somebody that loves me.
We got to remember, when we come up, there was marijuana. People were not addicted and dying over it. Then cocaine come out, and people were addicted to it, but they probably won't die over it. Then crack come out, it's a whole lot more addictive, but it won't kill them instantly. Now you have heroin that is laced with fentanyl and opioids. It's killing people instantly.
If you go back to 1980, 6,000 people were dying of overdose. In 2015, 52,000 people dying of overdose. 2021 preliminary numbers suggest 108,000 people are dying. There's over double the overdose rates of suicides, of breast cancer, of prostate cancer, of gun deaths and accidents. This is 9/11 happening every 10 days. And we're not doing something about it.
It's really trying. Even when you have honest communication with your loved one, they sometimes are only hearing that record playing over and over in their head about what their impediments are, you know, and feeling less than.
The hardest thing in my life wasn't getting off the drugs. The hardest thing in my life was actually working through all the insecurities and the pain and just how I viewed myself for so long, to be able to be the person that I am today.
It's all about recognizing people's humanity. The crisis is that we're not recognizing the humanity of people who are using drugs, often because they are suffering, often because they have nowhere to turn.
To know they see you getting better.
My heart's filled with joy. Yeah. They're doing well, they're happy, and yeah.
It's a long way from her deepest days in addiction, when she couldn't go for more than 3 hours without a hit. Did you have Narcan on hand?
No. I the last going off, I didn't feel like I was worth saving. So I said if it was my time, it was my time. Because I couldn't go without it. My body, it needed something. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I couldn't write, couldn't anything, and yeah, so I didn't feel like I was worth saving.
And now you know you are.
Yeah.
What went through your mind? His concern, I could see it. He wanted me, he wanted us to know, Kevin's family to know, how sorry he was, how much remorse, how much regret, how much it's impacted his life. And then and I hugged Nathan. I saw him standing there and I could see him reach for me. I had to hug him, you know? I just felt their humanity. I said, I forgive you. I mean, I told him, I said, I can tell you're really sorry. I thanked him for saying he was sorry. And I told him that I don't blame him. I don't blame Nathan.
I have never seen in my experience a man who just pled guilty to a homicide hug the mother of the person he's now been convicted of killing.
It just changed my life, and I prayed about it to see for her forgiveness, and it come true. I mean, it just happened.
It felt freeing. It felt like I was released from some chains.
And, you know, just being able to support somebody in their journey of where they are, meeting them where they're at, you know, because it's not an easy place to say, hey, you can just quit. You can't.
She knows the fear and the frustration all too well, trapped in the cycle of addiction for more than 30 years.
In my addiction, I sold myself on the street. I was sliced up by a fellow and left for dead. Fast forward 15 years later, I'm walking down the street and I see this fellow overdosed. I look at him, I recognize him. It's the fellow that sliced me up and left me for dead. I'm a better person. I saved him. He thanked me. And I just walked away. But I could have just said, hey, F you. You tried taking my life. I can take yours right now and not give it back. But that's not who I am. And that's one of the most powerful things that I've ever done.
So for us, it was really, really important.
I am a better person. I am a better mother. I am a better wife because of what I've learned in my journey with my daughter. Addiction is a life-threatening disorder. I've learned to just be in the moment. You know, this is all we have right here, right now. Tomorrow isn't promised. A lot of people aren't going to make it, but we sure can love them. We sure can put our arms around them. You can reach out and just say, I'm here for you. I will sit with you in your darkness. That's really what's brought us as a family out of such a dark place and into the light.